we're here today for a very important purpose. So I'm in a unique position because I tend to live half of my life in India and half of my life in Canada, in Ontario. And I want to start today by acknowledging that we often hear lines like justice delayed is justice denied. And you only talk about the Canadian perspective. I feel when it comes to the Kanishka bombing, I think it's not just Canada. I think it's both India and Canada that have betrayed the families. And I just wanted to put that on record over here. That I know it's a Canadian tragedy. I know about that, but if we look at the struggles, I mean, Sanjay is a friend, and I remember a couple of years ago when Sanjay had come on the podcast for the first time, and he was talking about his struggles with me, about how he's been trying for a small memorial for the families in India too, not just in Canada but in India too, because most of the families that passed away during the Air India bombing were also of Indian origin. So we wanted to do something for all the families in India and his struggle. So I just wanted to put it on record that it's not just in Canada, it's also in India. The second point that I want to raise is, I go around doing talks all over Canada, and there was a period from 2014 to 2022, I never came to Canada. I just did not turn up due to circumstances. And then when I came back, it was to my utter shock that I realized that I came to Canada for the first time in 2001. From 2001 to 2014, nobody basically knew about the Air India bombing. I come back to Canada after 8 years, and the situation has gotten worse, not better. At least I used to meet like one random person in my 100 interactions that would know about the Air India bombing. But now that number has gone from 100 to probably 500 interactions. And that's when I decided that, listen, I have a bully pulpit, I have a platform, I've been blessed enough to actually have a platform. It was at that time, that very moment, that I had decided at a personal level that I'm not going to stop talking about it. Wherever I go, I'm going to talk about it. I'm going to let everybody know, every Canadian know, because this is the problem with this particular incident has always been that it was never looked at as a Canadian tragedy. It has always been looked at as an Indian tragedy. This was a Canadian tragedy. And until it doesn't matter who passes away, what their race is, what their religion is, what their caste is, what their creed is. These were Canadians who passed away. And we refuse to acknowledge that basic reality. And sometimes I go to colleges, I do my talks. I remember my talk in Toronto Public Library where some student groups had come. And I asked them, how many of you know about the Air India bombing? And I did a straw poll first. I asked them, who are the people from India? Like the ones who were born in India and who've come here. So we had like a 60-40 crowd that were 40% were Canadians. And to my utter shock and horror, the 40% did not know about it. The 60% that were Indians from India who had come to Canada, they knew about it. Now, why is that? And I asked them a question. They're like, well, they don't teach us about it in school. I was like, that's not true. I know the Ontario textbooks do talk about it. I'm from Ontario, guilty as charged. So they said, no, Ontario does teach us about it. I was like, you still don't remember. And that's when they told us, well, we don't have any formal, how do you say it? You weave people into a tragedy. I think Canada till now has dealt with this tragedy in you put your ears, you shut your ears down and you start screaming la 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 la, and you assume that tragedy is going to go away. The tragedy doesn't go away. It stares you in the face every single time. So what I would like to do is, I would actually like to commend each and every one who has organized this. I would like to commend each and every public representative who has come over here, because I know all of you argue a lot because you're from opposing sides. But I want to applaud all of you, and I want all of you to applaud them, that you got over those personal differences and you cared enough to come over here and do this for the community and for Canada. That's all I want to say.